Consider abstaining from food for 3 consecutive days. No quick snacks, no sugary drinks, just pure water and stillness. Initially, this idea might seem unsettling, perhaps even irrational. We inhabit a world where food is constantly accessible. Grocery stores on every corner, drive-thrus open late, and delivery apps offering immediate gratification. The thought of deliberately withdrawing from this perpetual availability feels like a hardship. However, there's a vital truth that is rarely discussed. The human body was not designed for incessant consumption. It was crafted for rhythmic cycles of plenty followed by scarcity. During these intervals, these quiet periods devoid of sustenance, the body unveils a profound wisdom that modern living has almost made us forget. Long before the advent of refrigeration and convenience stores, our ancestors routinely went a day, 2 days, or even longer without meals. They didn't falter. They adapted. They became sharper, surviving because their bodies understood how to activate a more profound state of energy, clarity, and resourcefulness. That same ancient mechanism still resides within you. When you abstain from food for 72 hours, this system doesn't shut down. It awakens. Your cells adopt a new language. Your brain reorients its priorities, and your metabolism unveils a version of yourself that emerges only when food is absent. What transpires isn't starvation, it's a metamorphosis. The moment you cease eating, your body doesn't react with panic, as many might imagine. Instead, it performs something far more sophisticated. It pauses. It's as if your biology leans in, attentive, waiting to discern if this is a fleeting interruption or the commencement of something more substantial. During these initial hours, everything feels normal because, indeed, it is. You continue to function on the glucose from your previous meal, stored as glycogen in your liver and muscles, the biological equivalent of spare change saved for the immediate future. Insulin levels gradually decrease, subtly signaling the impending end of easily accessible fuel. Yet, nothing dramatic occurs just yet. You might detect a familiar gurgle in your stomach, or instinctively reach for a snack out of routine rather than genuine hunger. This very experience offers one of fasting's initial insights. Your body isn't pleading for food. Your routine is. Deep inside your cells, subtle alterations commence. Enzyme activity shifts, and hormones reconfigure their patterns. It's an understated, almost imperceptible process, but your metabolism is already realigning its internal machinery. For now, your body maintains smooth operations. Your focus, energy, and mood remain steady. However, just beneath this composed exterior, the groundwork is being laid for a far greater transformation. Between the 4th and 12th hour of fasting, something intriguing occurs. Seemingly nothing. You can work, drive, think, jest, browse, converse, and carry on with your life almost exactly as you always do. An external observer would detect no change whatsoever, and that is precisely the essence of it. Your body is designed to effortlessly navigate this period. It retains sufficient glycogen, your stored glucose, to regulate blood sugar, fuel your brain, and ensure every organ functions flawlessly. Yet, beneath this veneer of normalcy, subtle changes accumulate. Insulin continues its gradual descent, eventually allowing your cells to open and release stored energy. Ghrelin, the hunger hormone, increases not due to starvation, but because your customary meal times are passing. It's a psychological echo, a residual script from your daily rhythm. And, like an echo, it dissipates if left unaddressed. As this initial phase progresses, your liver emerges as the quiet hero, breaking down glycogen granule by granule, steadily releasing glucose into your bloodstream. The process is seamless, controlled, almost graceful, but the supply is finite. As the hours advance, your body begins to sense that its familiar fuel is diminishing, and it slowly, intelligently, instinctively prepares for the moment it must transition to an entirely different energy source. Around the 12-hour mark, the delicate equilibrium you've been riding on starts to shift. Your glycogen reserves, once a generous cushion, begin to deplete. Not entirely empty, but palpably lighter. And your body perceives this. Subtle signals ripple through your system, not in a panicked manner, but in a calculated, evolutionary way. A silent question arises. Is this a temporary pause, or is food truly unavailable? This is often where individuals confuse habit with hunger. You might pass the kitchen and feel a tug, or smell cooking and your mind reacts before your body does. These aren't survival alarms, they are psychological routines. Your brain has been accustomed for years to anticipate food at specific times. When those moments arrive with an empty plate, you experience the absence more acutely than the actual need. Meanwhile, deeper within, insulin levels drop sufficiently for your fat cells to finally relinquish their hold. Stored energy isn't just locked away, it's being prepared for use. Mitochondria begin to adjust their internal chemistry, anticipating the shift to a new fuel source. The body becomes more vigilant, more strategically aware, as if scanning for cues to determine whether to conserve or adapt. You might notice a slight dip in energy, a subtle mood fluctuation, or a moment of mental fogginess. These are not warning signs of danger, but indications of recalibration. The system is changing gears. Once your body commits to the next phase, the transformation becomes unmistakable. As you approach the 18-hour mark, the fragile sense of normal operations begins to rupture. Your glycogen tank, once a reassuring safety net, is now nearly depleted. Not entirely empty, but close enough for your body to recognize that readily available energy is fading. This moment marks a crossroads. Biological history has taught your system to make one of two choices: panic or adapt. And the human body, honed by millions of years of survival, almost invariably opts for adaptation. This is when you might experience the first genuine wave of discomfort. A dull headache, a brief surge of irritability, or the insidious whisper in your mind suggesting just one snack, just one bite. However, these sensations are not indicators of peril. They are the final echoes of a body transitioning from its preferred, familiar fuel to the deeper reserves it seldom utilizes. As glucose diminishes, fat takes prominence. Fat cells begin to open, releasing fatty acids into your bloodstream like a slow, deliberate deployment of emergency provisions. Your liver silently toils behind the scenes, converting these fatty acids into ketones, clean, sustainable molecules that your brain can employ when sugar is no longer available. What feels like a struggle externally is in fact the awakening of an infinitely more efficient energy system internally. This is the juncture where your metabolism ceases to operate like a contemporary sugar-powered machine and reverts to its intrinsic, resilient design. And once this transition commences, your body does not revert. By the time you cross into the 24th hour, you stand at the precipice of a remarkable neurological transformation. Your body has already begun to release ketones, but now, for the first time, your brain truly starts to register them. For most of your life, your brain has functioned almost exclusively on glucose, quick, predictable, familiar. But when that supply wanes, it doesn't shut down. Instead, it begins to test the new fuel entering the system. Ketones traverse the blood-brain barrier with astonishing ease, and almost immediately, they alter the chemistry of your thoughts. The mental fog that previously crept in begins to dissipate. Your mind doesn't feel hyperactive or overcaffeinated. Instead, it feels steady, almost tranquil in an unexpected way. It's as if the background noise within your head has been muted, leaving only clarity. Inside your neurons, BDNF, a potent protein that supports learning, memory, and neural protection, begins to increase. This is not a minor adjustment, It's a neurological upgrade. Your brain is strengthening connections, mending minor imperfections, stabilizing mood, and sharpening attention. It is preparing you for endurance, not instant gratification. Meanwhile, hunger starts to behave differently. Instead of surging like an emergency alarm, it arrives in waves, brief, temporary, and surprisingly manageable to navigate. When the wave recedes, a sense of calm settles in. This marks the dawn of metabolic freedom, the realization that your energy no longer hinges on continuous feeding. This phase is subtle, serene, yet profoundly impactful. It is the conduit between who you were when you consumed your last meal and who you are becoming as the fast deepens. Somewhere between the 30th and 36th hour, something astonishing begins to unfold. Your hunger, which you expected to intensify, actually starts to recede. Not because you're depleted of energy, nor because your body is shutting down, but because your hormones are finally stabilizing. Ghrelin, the hormone responsible for the sensation of hunger, follows a rhythm. It peaks at your customary meal times, then declines if you don't respond. By this stage of your fast, that rhythm begins to diminish. What once felt like a demanding voice now feels more like a fleeting thought. Noticeable, but not imperative. You are no longer battling your cravings. You are observing them. Internally, the shift is even more impressive. Your liver is now consistently producing ketones, providing your brain with a stable and dependable fuel source. Your mood begins to equalize. The irritability that surfaced earlier softens into a peculiar emotional steadfastness. Even your senses sharpen, not dramatically, but enough to notice details you typically overlook. This period represents the first true psychological milestone. It's when you realize you're not merely abstaining from food. You're adapting. The body's initial protests dissolve into cooperation. What once felt like exertion transforms into flow. For many individuals, this marks the point where comprehension truly dawns. The fast isn't intensifying, but rather becoming more manageable. By the 36-hour mark, your body transitions into a state rarely experienced by most. This isn't due to inherent danger, but because contemporary lifestyles seldom afford the body the tranquility needed to access it. This precise moment signals the true onset of autophagy. While the term may sound intricate, almost clinical, the underlying process is elegantly straightforward. Your cells initiate a thorough internal cleansing. This isn't a casual or gentle endeavor. Instead, it's executed with the meticulousness of a microscopic sanitation squad that has patiently awaited this opportunity for years. Within each cell, minute structures commence identifying damaged, misfolded proteins, fragmented components, and aging mitochondria functioning below optimal levels. These elements are tagged, dismantled, recycled, and reconstituted into novel structures. Envision millions of minuscule custodians simultaneously springing into action, sweeping through your body, disassembling anything that impedes your efficiency. This profound reparative work is impossible for your system to undertake when it's continuously engaged in digestion. Consequently, inflammation begins to subside, cellular waste is eliminated, and energy systems operate with enhanced efficiency. Surprisingly, at this juncture, many individuals report feeling lighter, not merely physically, but also mentally. The digestive system is at rest, the bloodstream is clearing, and your energy is no longer divided between digestion and detoxification. Instead, all resources are channeled towards restoration. This particular stage underscores why fasting is frequently associated with longevity research. The Nobel Prize-winning scientist Yoshinori Ohsumi demonstrated how autophagy mitigates aging, bolsters cellular resilience, and offers protection against diseases that thrive on compromised cells. And now, within your fasted body, that very same acclaimed process is unfolding in real time. Hunger recedes, mental clarity heightens, and as this profound cleansing continues, Your body increasingly feels as though it's undergoing an internal reboot. But what comes next? What awakens after the 48th hour might prove even more potent. Around the 48-hour mark, your body surpasses a threshold that modern living almost invariably prevents it from reaching. This is where one of the most remarkable transformations commences. Your immune system embarks on a comprehensive reset. This isn't a mere boost, nor a fleeting surge, but a genuine reconstructive process from within. It begins with a signal, triggered by the decline in glucose and the sustained elevation of ketones. Your body recognizes the ongoing absence of food and consequently reorients its priorities. Aged, fatigued, and dysfunctional immune cells, particularly those that fuel chronic inflammation, are earmarked for degradation. They are purged through the same autophagy pathways activated earlier. This isn't punitive, it's strategic. Your body removes the elements that are unable to keep pace. Concurrently, deep within your bone marrow, a subtle preparation unfolds. Stem cells, your body's master builders, receive directives to prepare for regeneration. Researchers at USC discovered that extended fasting activates these stem cells, enabling them to generate a fresh cohort of white blood cells once you resume eating. In essence, your immune system isn't being suppressed, it's being revitalized. Picture the retirement of an entire army that has been overexerted, underperforming, and perpetually reacting to stress, followed by the rigorous training of a new force. A pristine, efficient, and entirely new contingent takes its place. This is precisely what is happening within you. Externally, you might experience nothing more than a sense of calm, increased focus, or consistent energy. Internally, however, your body is reorganizing, reprioritizing, and fortifying defenses crucial for the remainder of your life. And as you delve deeper into the third day, this transformation only intensifies. As you progress beyond the 48-hour mark and into the 50 to 60-hour window, something unexpected begins to emerge. A sense of stability, almost a quiet equanimity. The hunger that previously felt acute now becomes distant, subdued, almost inconsequential. Your body is no longer resisting. It is fully committed to a new energetic paradigm. Ketones flow steadily now, not in gentle trickles, but in smooth, dependable currents. This consistent supply reshapes your internal landscape. Your brain operates on a fuel that doesn't cause spikes or crashes. Your energy fluctuations cease. Your emotions feel cushioned, safeguarded, insulated from the usual daily stressors. Growth hormone exhibits a dramatic increase here, sometimes reaching levels 5 times higher than normal. And rather than degrading muscle, your body performs the opposite. It protects, repairs, and strengthens it. This explains why people often describe this stage not as weakness, but as an unusual sensation of inner fortitude. Even cortisol, the stress hormone, begins to behave differently. Instead of spiking due to cravings or blood sugar drops, it stabilizes, fostering an unexpected calm. For the first time, fasting feels less like an exertion and more like an alignment. Your metabolism, hormones, and nervous system begin to move in unison, as if they finally agree on what truly matters. On the surface, nothing dramatic is apparent, but internally, the body is preparing for the peak transformation that arrives as you approach and surpass the 60-hour mark. As you cross into the 60th hour, your body enters a state that feels almost ethereal. Sharp, calm, steady, and singularly focused in a way you may have never before experienced. This isn't adrenaline. It isn't stimulants. It's evolution. You are stepping into what researchers often term hunter mode, the biological mechanism humans relied upon long before the advent of modern conveniences. With glucose long depleted and ketones flowing at unprecedented levels, your brain begins to operate like a high-performance machine. The mental fog dissipates. The internal chatter subsides. What remains is clarity. Pure, crisp, Unmistakable clarity. Thoughts emerge more rapidly but feel smoother, almost effortless. Problem-solving skills sharpen. Decision-making becomes more precise. Even your emotional responses stabilize, as if an internal intensity dial has been lowered. BDNF continues to rise, reinforcing neural pathways and shielding your brain from oxidative stress. This isn't merely a mental shift, it's a structural one. Your brain is reconfiguring for efficiency, not urgency. And unlike the restless exhilaration derived from sugar or caffeine, this clarity is grounded, unwavering. It endures. There's a reason our ancestors could track prey for extended periods, strategize without sustenance, and endure prolonged periods of scarcity. Their bodies weren't faltering. They were optimizing. And within this window, your body accesses that same ancestral intelligence. Your senses feel marginally sharper. Your awareness expands. The world appears more distinct. This phase serves as a reminder. You are not merely capable of functioning without food. You are capable of functioning more effectively. And as you approach the 70-hour mark, your body prepares to enter its deepest, most balanced state yet. As you approach the 70th hour, a remarkable equilibrium settles in. A level of balance so profound it almost feels surreal. Your body is no longer adjusting, transitioning, or compromising. It has mastered the fast. Every major system, your metabolism, your hormones, your immune response, now moves in quiet synchronicity. It's a state most individuals never attain, not because it's impossible, but because modern life rarely grants the body the opportunity to reach this point. Ketones flow with a seamless consistency, fueling your brain and muscles like a perfectly calibrated engine. Inflammation continues its decline. Digestion rests profoundly, almost meditative in its stillness. Your gut lining, which seldom receives a true respite, begins repairing microscopic abrasions. And your microbiome, the billions of bacteria that influence mood, immunity, and even weight, shifts towards a healthier balance. Inside your cells, precision replaces chaos. Autophagy persists in its cleansing, removing the last vestiges of damaged material. Growth hormone remains elevated, poised for rebuilding once nutrients are reintroduced. Cortisol stabilizes, and your mind feels strangely serene, as though the body and brain are breathing in the same rhythm for the first time in years. Outwardly, nothing appears dramatic, but internally, this is a symphony of renewal. Quiet, organized, intentional. You are not merely surviving without food. You are operating in the mode your body was designed to achieve, but almost never does. When you finally choose to conclude your 72-hour fast, the moment feels almost ritualistic, not dramatic, but profoundly significant. Your body has just completed one of the most profound biological resets it is capable of. And now, after 3 days of silence, your digestive system awakens slowly, cautiously, like a powerful machine gradually restarting after an extended shutdown. This is why the initial bite holds more importance than most people ever realize. Flood your stomach too quickly with heavy, greasy, or ultra-processed foods, and you risk shocking the very system you spent 72 hours repairing. Your gut lining, freshly mended, is not prepared for such an impact. Your insulin sensitivity, now at its peak, can surge too precipitously, and the calm clarity you've cultivated can dissipate within minutes. However, introduce food gently and deliberately, and your body responds with remarkable precision. A warm broth, steamed vegetables, a soft-boiled egg, a few slices of avocado. Simple foods that are easily digestible and nutrient-rich. As they enter your system, your digestive enzymes awaken. Insulin rises in a smooth, controlled curve, and your cells open their doors, ready to absorb what they have been awaiting. Within your bone marrow, The previously activated stem cells begin transforming into new immune cells. Muscle tissues commence subtle repair. Your microbiome starts reconfiguring itself around the first nutrients it receives. Even your senses feel heightened. Taste, smell, focus, as if someone has polished the interior of your world. Breaking a 72-hour fast is more than just eating again. It's reintroducing life into a body that has been rejuvenated from the inside out. And that first meal becomes the bridge between who you were before this journey and who you have become after it. After 72 hours, a profound realization emerges, perhaps more vivid than any other during this endeavor. The most astonishing aspect of fasting isn't about your physical reactions. It's about the self-discoveries you make. You come to understand that the sensation of hunger is not a crisis, that unease is not a peril, and that self-control can foster a degree of lucidity unmatched by any simple fix. You recognize that your body is neither delicate, nor desperate, nor reliant on continuous nourishment. It is robust, adaptive, incredibly astute, and considerably more competent than you previously imagined. Fasting fundamentally alters your perspective on food, on cravings, and on the inclination to remedy every emotion with a morsel. More significantly, it reforms your perception of your own boundaries. You discern that what you once considered an insurmountable limit was never an actual barrier, but merely a notion you hadn't yet put to the test. And if these 72 hours have been eye-opening, then the initial 24 hours might astonish you even further. That's when the metamorphosis truly starts, much earlier than most anticipate. It's the point where your body first transitions, first adjusts, first reveals its latent mechanisms. Therefore, if you're prepared to grasp how this journey genuinely commences, your next action is straightforward. View the video concerning the 24-hour fast, because once you witness your body's capabilities in just a single day, your understanding of hunger and your own capabilities will be forever changed.